In the dim glow of a high-rise office overlooking a bustling city skyline, an older man sat alone at his desk on a rainy Friday afternoon, his hands trembling as he packed the last of his belongings into a cardboard box. Old and useless, the CEO had sneered just hours earlier, right before security escorted him out like a criminal. Little did that young executive know that by Monday morning, a staggering $22 million would vanish into the void, all because they had fired the only person who could have saved the deal. If you're watching this right now, feeling the weight of your own struggles or cheering for the underdog, stick with me until the end. This story will hit you hard, remind you why loyalty and wisdom still matter, and if it moves you even a little, hit that like button and subscribe for more real-life tales of resilience that Hollywood wishes it could script. Ahmed Khalil had given 32 years of his life to Apex Global Imports, a company that started as a small trading firm and ballooned into a multi-million-dollar player bridging Western markets with the Middle East. At 58, Ahmed wasn't the flashiest employee, no fancy degrees from Ivy League schools, no sleek suits bought with bonuses. He was the quiet backbone, the one who arrived early, stayed late, and spoke flawless Arabic, a skill that had sealed countless contracts in a region where trust was built on language, culture, and respect. Colleagues called him Uncle Ahmed, behind his back, not out of mockery, but affection. He remembered everyone's birthdays, mentored the young interns on navigating cultural nuances, and had once worked through his own father's funeral to close a deal that kept the company afloat during the last recession. His wife, Fatima, often teased him gently over dinner. "Habibi, you're married to that company more than me," she'd say with a warm smile, passing him plates of fragrant mansaf or fresh dates from their small garden. Their 2 children, now grown, one a teacher, the other starting a family of their own, knew the stories of how Ahmed had immigrated as a young man with nothing but hope and a worn Quran in his suitcase. He built this life brick by brick, never complaining about the long hours or the subtle slights from newer, faster-talking executives who saw him as outdated. But Ahmed loved the work. Every successful shipment of goods, every satisfied client in Dubai or Riyadh, felt like a victory for his roots and his family's future. He wasn't chasing promotions anymore. He just wanted to finish strong, retire with dignity, and maybe travel back to his homeland one day with Fatima. Then came the new CEO, Marcus Reed. Barely 35, with an MBA, a podcast following, and a ruthless drive for efficiency. Marcus swept in like a storm, slashing costs, pushing for automation, and preaching about youthful innovation. He viewed the old guard as dead weight. During a tense quarterly meeting, when a major deal with a Saudi conglomerate hung in the balance, worth tens of millions in ongoing revenue, Marcus interrupted Ahmed mid-sentence. "We don't need dusty old connections anymore," he snapped. "AI translators and young blood can handle this." Ahmed had tried to explain the subtleties, the client's preference for personal rapport, the specific dialect that built immediate trust, the cultural protocols that email chains could never capture. But Marcus saw only numbers and age. The firing came without warning. On that fateful Friday, Marcus called Ahmed into his glass-walled office. "You're old and useless in this new era, Khalil," he said coldly, sliding the termination papers across the desk. "We've got apps for translation now. Pack your things." Security was waiting. Ahmed didn't argue. He simply nodded, his eyes stinging with unshed tears, and walked out with his box under his arm. The rain outside mirrored the storm in his heart. In the parking garage, he sat in his old sedan for 20 minutes, staring at the dashboard photo of Fatima and the kids. "What now?" he whispered. 32 years reduced to a severance check that barely covered 6 months. At his age, who would hire him? The job market favored the young, the flashy coders and marketers. He drove home in silence, the weight of failure crushing his chest. Fatima met him at the door, her face falling as she saw the box. She pulled him into a hug without a word, her strength the only thing keeping him from breaking. That night, over tea, he poured it out. The humiliation, the fear of becoming a burden, the ache of being discarded like yesterday's newspaper. Their son called from across town, furious. "Dad, sue them. You were the heart of that place." But Ahmed shook his head. "I just wanted to end well, son. To be remembered as someone who mattered." Sleep evaded him. He replayed every deal, every late night, wondering if he had missed signs of his own obsolescence. Doubt gnawed at him like never before. Was he truly useless? Had his loyalty blinded him? Meanwhile, at Apex Global, the office buzzed with Monday morning energy. Marcus strutted through the halls, boasting about trimming dead weight. The Saudi deal was set to close that day, a massive contract for specialized machinery, negotiated over months with Ahmed's guidance. The team assigned to finalize it relied on generic translation software and junior staff who barely understood the nuances. Emails flew back and forth, but something felt off. The client representative, Sheikh Al-Mansur, grew frustrated during the video call. Subtle cultural missteps piled up. A rushed tone that seemed disrespectful, translations that missed idiomatic expressions critical to trust, and an overlooked clause about long-term partnership commitments that Ahmed would have caught instantly. By noon, the deal teetered. Internal panic set in as the Sheikh's team demanded clarifications only an experienced hand could provide. Marcus dismissed the warnings. Push through. It's just language. But by late afternoon, the unthinkable happened. The Sheikh withdrew entirely, citing lack of cultural alignment and reliability. Word spread like wildfire through the industry. Partners in the region pulled back, questioning Apex's competence. By close of business Monday, not only had the $22 million deal evaporated, but projected losses from follow-on contracts and damaged reputation ballooned into the tens of millions more. Stock dipped sharply. Board members called emergency meetings. The young CEO, once untouchable, now faced the consequences of his arrogance. Ahmed learned of the disaster through a frantic call from his former colleague, Sarah, one of the few who had defended him. Ahmed, it's chaos here. Marcus is scrambling. They need you. He sat in his modest living room, Fatima beside him, the news hitting like a bittersweet wave. Part of him felt vindicated. The sting of, old and useless, burned less fiercely. But deeper was the sorrow for the company he had loved, for the colleagues now scrambling, for the families whose livelihoods hung in the balance. He didn't gloat. Instead, after a long talk with Fatima, he agreed to consult, on his terms. Tuesday morning, Ahmed walked back into the building, not as a beggar, but with quiet dignity. The team gathered, eyes wide with relief and shame. Marcus, humbled in front of the board, offered a reluctant apology. We misjudged your value. Ahmed didn't rub it in. He rolled up his sleeves and got to work. With his Arabic flowing naturally, he reached out to the Sheikh personally, mending fences with stories, respect, and the personal touch only he could offer. He explained the miscommunications, offered sincere commitments, and negotiated a revised deal that, while not the original $22 million immediately, salvaged the core partnership and opened doors for recovery. Challenges arose, distrust lingered, internal politics simmered, and Ahmed faced quiet resentment from those who had stayed silent during his firing. But he persevered, mentoring younger staff on the human side of business, teaching them that technology augments but never replaces wisdom and heart. By week's end, the company stabilized. The board reinstated Ahmed with a promotion to cultural advisor and a substantial raise, but more importantly, they implemented changes, mandatory diversity training, retention policies for experienced staff, and a recognition that age brought irreplaceable insight. Marcus learned the hard way, stepping back from pure cost-cutting to value building. Ahmed's family celebrated that night with a feast, laughter filling the home that had felt so heavy just days before. Fatima held his hand. You never were useless, Habibi. You just needed the world to remember. This story isn't just about one man's triumph, it's about all of us. In a world obsessed with youth, speed, and shiny algorithms, we forget that the old and useless often hold the keys to what truly lasts. Relationships, cultural understanding, resilience forged through decades of quiet battles. Ahmed's journey reminds us to cherish experience, fight ageism in our workplaces and hearts, and never let arrogance blind us to the value right in front of us. Whether you're climbing the ladder, feeling overlooked, or leading a team, remember, true strength lies in lifting others, honoring roots, and building bridges that no app can replicate. If this tale of heartbreak, loss, and hard-won redemption stirred something in you, if it made you think of your own parents, mentors, or that voice inside doubting your worth, smash that like button. Share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more stories that cut deep and lift higher. Drop a comment. Have you ever felt dismissed for your age or background? Let's build a community that values real wisdom. Until next time, Keep holding on to hope. Your best chapters might just be the ones the world tries to erase.